Hello everyone, Taylorson here and welcome to the final episode of Season 1 of MyRider. We are in the thick of the Deutschland Tour and we've got one stage left. Here's how the GC looks and we are in the top 10, but can we make gains on this final stage?
For this final act, the riders will once again be on terrain that allows them to envisage attacks with an eye to the general classification. However, it would require exceptional circumstances for big gaps to be made, but there are real possibilities to shake things up.
We're underway then for stage 5 of 5 at the Deutschland Tour, and Gerben Tyson is in a huge breakaway that went up the road right at the start of the race. And Tyson himself is of course going for King of the Mountains points, at least on this stage, but is more interested in the intermediate sprints. The problem for him though is that Alexander Kristoff is also in this breakaway. He could not let us go that easy. So we're going to have to fight it out at the intermediate sprint point. But here is the first King of the Mountains point of the day, and it is a very hilly route that is ahead of us in Germany. And we're going to just watch everybody and make sure that we get over with the likes of the climbers and see if we can drop a couple of the sprinters that are in this break. The likes of Matti Brennan, Milan Fretin, Dylan Groenewegen, who's on the back at the moment and is struggling. Let's see how many we can get rid of, and hopefully we can distance Kristoff as well, although that would be the hardest rider to get rid of from this breakaway. Let's see how this goes down. Second climb of the day, and the breakaway is already down to 12 riders. Groenewegen, Ackermann, Sam Bennett and Milan Fretin have all gone out the back, but look at who's alongside Kristoff. He's got Andreas Kron protecting him likely throughout this stage until the intermediate sprint where Kristoff can fight it out with Gerben Tyson, but we're using all of the blue gel we possibly can to try and cling on to these guys. Caden Groves is also in this breakaway, so a couple of versatile sprinters have made the move. We're not necessarily a versatile sprinter, we've not got the stats for it, but we're just going to have to play this one tactically very well and try and stick with them. We are out of red, which is slightly concerning. Kristoff is sprinting past us, and it looks like we're going to be the ones to try and do the hanging on instead of the likes of Kristoff and Matt Brennan and co. Brennan has been dropped, so has Groves, but Kristoff is right with us at the moment and we cannot get rid of him right now. So it looks like we're going to be dragging the Norwegian to the intermediate sprint. Here it is then, the big decider in terms of the green jersey. 3 kilometers until we get to the intermediate sprint, and 1 point separates Gerben Tyson from Alexander Kristoff in the points classification jersey. Of course, with Kristoff taking the win in a previous stage at this race, it means that he leads 1-0 in the stage win classification. So we're going to have to distance him and finish ahead of him at this intermediate sprint to try and beat the guy. We are going to take our red gel now, see if we can get past him. It's Tyson, it's Kristoff, it's one-on-one, and it's a battle of who's got the best sprint on the day. It is going to go down to the best rider wins, and the best rider in the end on the bike throw is Kristoff, who just about gets there ahead of Gerben Tyson. And unless Tyson pulls out a miracle at the finish, it looks like we're going to finish in second in the green jersey classification. With that intermediate sprint win, Alexander Kristoff packs up his bags and exits the breakaway, rejoins the peloton, and will likely finish the stage in that jersey because we are down to a tiny sliver of our blue bar left. So we're just going to try and do the best we possibly can, pull this breakaway as far as possible and get the peloton to work to make sure that Noah Peeters is in a good place towards the end of this stage, because now our minds can go forwards towards GC prospects and goals. We're alongside the rest of the breakaway and it looks like we're going to finally give way at the top of this climb. That's the end of Gerben Tyson's tour, and it is a damn good effort from the Belgian rider as he crests the top of the third to last climb. Final proper climb of the day, and we are on board with Noah Peeters now, who's weaving his way in between riders and through this peloton. But look at the amount of red gel he's got left, or red energy should I say. The guy is doing very well at the moment, so we're going to do a little attack over the top of this climb and see if we can weed out a couple of the GC competitors, see who's feeling good and who isn't on today's stage. It looks like nobody's going with us. We've just flown past Christian Rodriguez and the rest of the remnants of the breakaway, and we go over the top of the King of the Mountains point to take a couple of points. It's not necessarily what we wanted, but it's given us a platform to try and go and attack this stage. Dylan Teuns is now with us, and hopefully we can get something together and gain some time on the likes of Skjelmose in the yellow jersey. Well, Peeters and Teuns did try their best, but they've been reeled in by a Lidl Trek and Visma Lease-A-Bike led peloton, and it is the latter who are heading towards the front at the moment. It's Tish Benoot that's trying to rip this group in two, and riders are falling by the wayside behind. This could have general classification implications, but Benoot leading this one out for Visma Lease-A-Bike. He's been usurped there by Maximilian Schachmann, that is, for Soudal Quickstep, trying to lead out Van Zevenont, but in the wheel of him is Teuns, and Peeters is moving up on the left-hand side. He's going to try and take this one up early. The Intermarché-Wanty rookie is trying to go for broke for the stage win. Off he goes and launches the sprint. Van Zevenont on the left, but on the bike throw, Peeters gets there, and it is a first win for the Belgian in his young career at Intermarché-Wanty, and what a stage to do it on. Well, how about that? Noah Peeters takes the stage win with an attacking, offensive performance. Dylan Teuns helped us out a little bit by helping in the breakaway and wasting away some of the domestiques. But I didn't realise Peeters had that level of sprint in him. We do win the stage, but of course we don't win the general classification. That goes to Matthias Skjelmose, who takes the GC, the white jersey, and the polka dot jersey for this race, completing the clean sweep for a climber. Meanwhile, Alexander Kristoff, arguably deservedly, wins this green jersey after a straight shootout between him and Gerben Thijssen. At that intermediate sprint point, it was certainly super fun to race that one. The results in full: Noah Peeters wins the stage ahead of Mathieu Van Der Poel, Wilco Kelderman, Dylan Teuns and Kevin Gignac in 5th, and that does have major GC implications because only the top 10 finished on the same time as Noah Peeters. When you account for the time bonus that he got for that as well, Peeters moves himself up to 6th place in the general classification, with Skjelmose winning it from McNulty and Van Wilder. But we're not done there for the season. One final race awaits for Noah Peeters, and that is the Giro del Veneto.
Guys, the beginning of the race is relatively easy. However, in the final 70 kilometers, there's no hiding and no shirking. It's the legs that will do the talking. Have a good day, guys.
And the legs have certainly done the talking throughout the first part of this stage, because UAE Team Emirates have been lighting the race up pretty much from kilometre 0, and the breakaway has been very swiftly reeled in. Giulio Ciccone has gone on the attack right now and is trying to get away from the rest of the peloton, which is just down to 22 riders at this point. We are on the penultimate climb of the day, and it looks like there's a brief gap going there, so we're going to try and close that. But look at the amount of energy we've got with just 16 kilometres left. We've got loads of reserve, but the likes of Primož Roglič, who's just on our left here at this race. So this is a completely different set of opponents compared to the Deutschland Tour. We've gone up a level, so let's try and test ourselves against the best. 16 kilometres to go, and Giulio Ciccone remains up front. We're going to have the last of our gel and see if we can hang on. But all of our teammates have gone, the likes of Kobe Hosens and co. I might as well put the team graphic here, because none of them have made any difference to our progress at this race, but we've attacked over the top of this climb, and Giulio Ciccone is the man we are chasing on this descent, and we'll try and get a brief gap before the final climb of the day to really put the peloton under pressure. While UAE Team Emirates were very quick to pop the balloon in the breakaway, because us and Ciccone have been reeled in by the super team that they have sent to this race. No Pogacar, which is the main omission for those guys, but Primož Roglič, his Slovenian counterpart, has immediately attacked on this, the final climb of the stage, 6.5 kilometers to go, and we are oozing confidence at the front of this race. Off the back of a stage win, we're going to try and set a tempo and see if the best riders can live with it, because at the moment there's a brief gap that has formed. It's been closed by XTS Astana, but we have so much energy that we can just hold the tempo, the very fierce tempo, right to the top of this climb. Roglič is going to try a second acceleration, and we're going to try and attack over the top of it, use it as a springboard, and see if we can get a gap on this descent. It's a descent almost all the way to the line, so we've just got to hold our own, pick our right lines through the corners, and this could be 2 wins on the bounce for Noah Peeters. Let's see how it turns out. Here we go then, the final markings of this descent, and Noah Peeters has left Primož Roglič in his wake, but Roglič is speedily closing this one down. Peeters trying to save some energy for a sprint at the end, and off he goes underneath the Flamme Rouge. Peeters trying to launch the sprint, and he's torching everyone once again. This is the second time in a row that Peeters has done this, and are we seeing a hidden sprinter in the works here for Intermarché-Wanty? Such a huge gap at the line, and Peeters wins the Giro Del Veneto. I might as well have called this the Sprinter Pro Leader mode, because at the moment all we're doing is taking the wins in reduced sprints, but we are doing the reduction this time. It's not the other teams that are forcing the pace. We stuck the knife in, and we well and truly twisted it at the end of this stage. Noah Peeters wins the day ahead of Wout Poels, Primož Roglič, Giulio Ciccone and Valentin Parry-Pantra, so we've proved we can do it against the best, and all of a sudden this off-season might be very tasty indeed, because in Season 2 we could be going for serious glory. All that's to come in the next episode of Pro Leader, where we will be starting Season 2, so do not miss that when it comes out. That's where we'll leave it for today though. Subscribe if you are new and like the video if you enjoyed it. I will also leave a playlist link at the end of this video, so if you've missed an episode you can catch up. Stay safe, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.